Once you turn 18, it feels like you have to have your whole life together. But what if you don't get it together? What if you feel lost in life? Like where you thought you'd be is so far from where you are right now? It turns out we have a lot of big questions. The what is the meaning of life kinds of questions, the ones that keep you up at night, wondering if anyone else feels the same way. So we started a vlog to ask those questions. Questions like, how do you even become a real life functioning adult? How do you find the friends and figure out what to even do with your life? We can't promise the answers, but let's figure it out together. We are a collective group of young adults finding life, seeking to make a collective difference with our collective influence. So here we go. We're wrapping up our adventure, still kind of wondering what it looks like to be an adult and still having so many questions. We invited Pastor Will, who we talked to at the beginning of this whole thing. And so now we'll finally get to introduce him to some of our other friends and see really what we learned, I guess. I don't know how it's gonna go. Glad you're here. About to have so much fun. Let's go. We've learned so many things this week about what it looks like to be an adult, how to find friends, how to find purpose in life, and so many other things. But there's still so much we don't have figured out. Our friends are here. We also wanted our friends to get to meet Will because he kind of started this whole thing. We wanted to celebrate our progress this week and to thank Will for being there with us along the way. We're sad everything is coming to an end, but we're hopeful to find even more wisdom for our collective group. We've spent a lot of time together this week asking a lot of huge questions, and we thought it might be cool to kind of bring it full circle back to where we started, asking huge questions to someone wiser than us. Not that much older, though.
Not that much.
We found out.
Not that much.
Not that much older than us. You're obviously a pastor, and I think there's, stigmas about, we can assume you were a certain way growing up your whole life. I don't know, were there any, curveballs in your story that got you to where you are now?
Yeah, one, I definitely never wanted to be a pastor, but I love what I do. I love being a pastor. I love moments like these, especially with young adults, since I'm no longer a young adult, according to y'all. So I love these moments, just asking questions, hearing the responses, because really, that's what this whole life is about. None of us have it figured out. We're all taking steps closer to Jesus, and he's the one that gives us the answers. And we learn a lot from stuff like this.
Do you feel like you're living out your calling, your purpose?
I do.
When did you lean into that and say, okay, this is it and I'm living it?
I don't think there was a moment where I was like, wow, I'm living it out. I think there was a moment of I'm going to do this. Romans 12:2 talks about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. So staying in God's word every single day. And I think as we keep God's word in front of us, the Bible tells us somewhere in Psalms that his word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. So we don't know every single step, but staying in his word lights up this step and lights up the next step and the next and the next and the next. And so it was staying in God's word. It was having people that were wiser than me or in different seasons of life that I could come to. I didn't even want to say it. I didn't even want to say it because I knew y'all were gonna clown me. There are many days I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just like, okay, I believe this is the right step. How do I know it's the right step? Well, I don't know 100%, but I know that this step is not contradicting God and his word. We think if I don't take that path, that I'm gonna end up someplace I don't wanna be. And so many times it's you've got this opportunity, you've got 2 job opportunities in front of you, and you're sweating bullets because you're I don't wanna make the wrong decision. Both jobs seem pretty good. And what I tell people is, which one do you have peace about? I have peace about both. Well, then choose. And he will be with you along the path.
Pause, listen. Did you guys hear that? So often we feel like we're going to ruin our lives if we make one wrong move when that's just not true. We don't have to tiptoe around in life hoping to make the right choice. As long as we're obeying God, he will be with us no matter where we go or where we end up. We can also get so worried about how we'll know whether or not we're going to hear from God. But listen, everyone hears him differently. Let's talk about it.
What are some ways that you feel like you hear from God?
I think the times when I feel like, okay, I know that was God, it's when I'm in a situation like this and I hear or feel something very confirming in that moment. That's like, these are your friends. And like no one else will like pick up on it, but it's like I hear that and I sense that. And it's like with a certain peace and confidence. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I was going through the process of trying to change jobs from Oklahoma to Texas, but I hadn't let go of my current job that I had yet. I hadn't sent in the resignation letter. And during the interview, I felt like God was telling me, like, it was just a thought process of like, I need to send that in. I need to tell them that I'm not coming back officially. And then the person who was interviewing me told me that he couldn't offer me the job because the lady who had the job that was going to be open hadn't sent in her resignation letter yet either. And that was just too weird of like,
You're like her.
that I was like, oh. And so that's when I really felt like God was telling me, like, I can't give you something until you're letting go of this.
I think really worship is like something that kind of captivates me, and it's just like, okay, like here I'm singing your praises, but yeah, I don't feel this way right now. And then I think in that moment, the Lord is just like, you feel this way because you're here, you're doing this, you're singing praises, no matter if it's in person or like if it's just in your head or if it's with people watching you. It doesn't matter, but you're still singing the praises, so you do get it. Yeah. So now I'm speaking to you now, and I want you to understand and fully like grasp that. And so
I feel like I've heard God like the most when I was doubting and like having, I don't know, battles with, trying to hear his voice versus what I wanted to do.
Isn't that true for all of us? Like, if we're honest, sometimes we don't always feel God or hear him explicitly, and that can lead to doubts. We don't often talk about doubting, but I love how Christian talked about how doubt can actually be a way to hear from God and to get closer to him. I wanted to shift gears and figure out if Will always feels like he's where he's supposed to be. I know for me, I sometimes feel like where I want to be is so far from where I am now.
When you're 20, you're like, I'm gonna be a millionaire by 30. Like, that's what I thought. Like, I had all of these dreams and ambitions. And so at 37, I definitely am like, man, I thought I would be so much further along. I thought I'd have it all together. But then I talk to people that are 47, and they look like they have it all together, but they'll tell me the same thing. Now, I still don't feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
So knowing what you know now, what are like steps you think at our age, in our 20s, what are those types of steps we could be taking now to get us where we want to be in 10 years?
I think the first thing you need to ask yourself is, where do I want to be? In your relationship with God, like, where do you want your relationship with God to be? Like, a lot of times we only think about like the tangible things of like money and a house and clothes and a profession, but like the intangibles is your walk with Christ. Like, where do you want to be at? Do you want to know his word more? Do you want to have a better prayer life? All of that starts now.
How do you find those people that are going to support you and walk alongside you and you're going to help them? Like, where do you go to find that kind of, I think it's really easy to find friends that maybe don't help you or maybe even hurt you. How do you find that group that kind of pushes you forward?
They're everywhere if you will take the step to find them. And so like the life group that I'm in, a young lady found my wife, and we were all serving together at our youth ministry, and they were just serving together. They started talking back and forth, and she was like, hey, I'm starting this group. Would you like to be a part of it? We were like, cool. We showed up, didn't know. Okay, we don't know if they're gonna be weird or not. We don't know how this is gonna work out, but now we've been in that group 3 years. And it started just from a conversation between them. I'm telling you, they're around you. Like, if anybody says like I can't find, no, you are either one, you don't want to find them, or you just won't take a step out of your comfort zone.
Dang, that's direct. People are all around you if you look for them. I'm learning that actually is true, and this whole week has been proof.
Now that I personally am like still in that walk of trying to get where I think God's called me to be. Yeah. And so you were talking about like before you decided to, listen to what he was saying and, telling you to do with your life. Now that you're there, what does your life look like in your walk with God and just knowing that you're doing his will for you?
A lot of us think that once we step into whatever it is God's called us to do, that we'll be like, I arrived, I made it, this is it, I know. But even when I was in it, I still felt unsure. That's why I can sit here with you all and tell you, there's many days I don't know what I'm doing. But that's so freeing for me because it's in those moments that I feel like I'm most walking in my calling. Life is a journey, it's not a destination. So even though I'm in my calling, I'm still gotta walk through it. The moment you stop and you don't move forward, that's the moment when you really have to go, like, you have to wake up and go, something's off, something's wrong.
We're wrapping up this whole thing, and honestly, I'm sad about it. I really did become friends with these people, and we learned so much along the way. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that no one ever really has their life figured out, and that's okay. Maybe you never actually feel like an adult. Maybe you never figure it all out and get your life together the way you expect. But maybe that's the point. It's less about figuring it all out and more about finding the right friends to help you and learning to look to God for the answers. So keep doing the right next thing. Find your people. Ask people older and wiser than you to share their experiences with you. Remember who you are and think about where you want to be, but most of all, know that you don't have to do it alone. We made friends by scheduling a group of people to do this project. Those friends are out there for you. If you'll take a step outside your comfort zone and just go for it. Collectively, we can do this adulting thing because whoever finds God finds life, and we're a collective of young adults finding life together.